Welcome to Mortified, the Friendship Quest, a podcast where two long-distance friends bounce media recommendations, all in hopes the other will like it. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Leyla Mamedova.
And this week, we talk stunts and slunts with the 2015 Telugu action epic Bahubali. Before we flex so hard our clothes explode, remember you can help us on Mortified, the Legitimacy Quest by subscribing to us on YouTube, iTunes, or Spotify, or following us on Tumblr at MortifiedPod. Leyla.
My best friend Aaron.
How did you first hear about this film?
I think Marty and I were just talking about hot men on screen.
That makes sense.
And they're into the, Bahubali.
So Marty's seen this movie?
Oh, yeah. I think they've seen both.
Damn, okay. Shout outs.
Yeah, which we haven't even decided if we're going to see the conclusion.
Yeah, I don't know. we probably will. We'll probably get around to it.
Yeah.
The reason that I know about this movie is probably from either Twitter or Tumblr, but there's a famous GIF of, I believe, Bahubali Part 2, where there's a bunch of soldiers. They have to scale a fort, the fort of this kingdom that we'll show. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Where they all get together in a little pill ball and they catapult themselves up a palm tree, and then they roll into the combat arena. It's a great GIF. It seems like it, a great movie. I mean, for that alone, I'm willing to sit through what I assume is another 4.5 hour fucking film. But it's not that long. This one was 2 hours and 40 minutes. But nobody in the subcontinent has heard of an editor, and God bless them for that.
No, totally different. Well, I was saying this in my notes, where I was like, man, I feel like I'm missing context, because there's a moment where Bahu, what are we calling him?
Shiva, I think.
Shiva
is what I'm going to call him.
Okay, Shiva, not the god, not the Final Fantasy summon guy, puts his foot on top of Kappa's head, and I was like, this feels religious in a way I don't understand,
Right. Yes.
And so I felt like I was missing context, but you know what, we don't have a franchise right now, so we could next month. We got to do our planning after this.
Well, here's the thing: the director S.S. Rajamouli also directed RRR. So maybe we could do a Rajamouli roundtable here in 2025.
Maybe we do Bahubali 2, the conclusion, because this is Bahubali 1, the beginning.
Right.
And then RRR, see what he learned.
Yeah. I think that's a fun idea. We could definitely look into that. But for context, listeners, this is a Telugu movie. A thing that I had to look up, which is there is a difference between Bollywood and other types of cinema in India. Bollywood is specific to Hindi movies, so that this is a movie that was not primarily distributed in Hindi is important to note. Because of the way that Hindi and Hinduism are basically a hegemonic power in India, so that's an important thing to note. I think that Rajamouli, if you've heard of any of his movies, you've probably heard of RRR because that came out recently.
And was I think the awards circuit.
Yeah. So this is one of his earlier films, but I think it's just a fun time, and we'll talk about it. But what Leyla's talking about as far as missing cultural context, between us not knowing the language and also not having that, understanding that the context of where this movie is coming from culturally, so we apologize for being, Americans in that way. But I still think we had a fun time.
Oh, I had a great time. Whatchamacallit? I had a thought. What was my thought? Missing context. Oh, I know you watched it on YouTube. I had it completely legally acquired, naturally.
Right, of course.
And I listen, my eyeballs and my ears don't work so good together, but I'm pretty sure that whatever language I was watching it in, subtitled into English, was already dubbed from whatever it was originally filmed in. So the lips did not match the words they were saying, but in two ways that I couldn't understand. Was that the YouTube version, or did you have the original audio?
I'm pretty sure I had the original audio. It seemed like the audio was synced up pretty good, so.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to poke around in your YouTube and see if they all sound different, because I think I had a dubbed version. It felt
Listen, that is the true way to watch any media that's not in your first language is through multiple layers of fucked upness.
God, do you remember when we watched the Haikyuu play in Italian?
We sure did, huh? Goddamn. That ruled.
That is a really deep cut for listeners who, for some reason, stuck with us for all of our seasons. But a long time ago, we watched the Haikyuu stage play, but the only version of it we could find was with Italian subtitles.
Mamma mia, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, Papa Pia, we were younger. Okay, let's talk about this epic poem. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much playing in this like mythopoetic epic style. I think it absolutely draws from the Ramayana in that way. Like, I mean, the guy's name is Shiva. Like, he, his full name is like Bahubali. He's the son of the warrior Bahubali. We'll get to that. But like, he is an avatar of Shiva in that way. So I think that's kind of important to note. Like, this is very much going for an elevated, like, pseudo-religious, pseudo-historical epic style. So that also is kind of why the ridiculous stunts work.
Yes, absolutely. It's really giving... actually, okay, well, let's get into it, and then we can talk about the song that plays while he tries to climb the mountain, because I think that sets the tone.
So this movie opens with a woman running out of this waterfall. She is pursued by men with swords, presumably soldiers. She's trying to like cross a river. She's got this baby with her. She does a cool like knife trick. She stabs some of the soldiers as they get close. She's kind of a badass. But she can't cross the river. So what happens is she like holds the baby up. She says a prayer to Shiva. And she like holds the baby up, and the members of a nearby tribe come out and they see her holding the baby. And actually when they swim out to her, one of the members swims out to her. The only thing that is remaining is like the baby being held up as her head is under the water, which like it would be a cool image, but it is a little silly at the same time. It's like a very fun dissonance. And then also when the person retrieves the baby, her body just kind of floats away.
This movie I think it's a really good point, because this movie is truly one bad performance away from being camp. You know what I mean? Like, it's truly one bad but earnest performance from being camp, but everyone is so locked the fuck into what they're selling us that it's like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I read some of the reviews from various Indian outlets, and they all seem to be like, this rules. Like, so I don't think, our concept of camp, no. I don't think it necessarily applies. I don't think it's the same.
No, it's a Western concept and it's a Western viewing, but...
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love the image of Auntie just, like, holding that baby up. I did think she was gonna chuck him.
That would have been cool if she just fucking threw a Hail Mary, perfect spiral pass.
There was a moment where I thought because she was holding it up with one hand. I was like, is she about to throw the baby like the football? But she didn't. She just held him.
Yeah. So this family, this like local tribe adopts the baby. They name him Shiva, and they raise him. And the raising sequence I think is really funny because like he, immediately this kid becomes obsessed with climbing the waterfall. He like knows he has some connection to climbing. And for the record, this isn't just like a waterfall that at your local state park. This is like, a 1,000-foot high terraced, big ass like mythical, Shangri-La ass waterfall. So like, it's this huge wall in front of this river, in front of this village. So like it would be a big accomplishment to climb this. And he becomes obsessed with climbing it because he has this connection to it. And he, as a young boy, he keeps like trying to climb it. And his mom's just like, hey, stop. She gets mad at him for trying to do it, and he does it anyway. And it just, I think it's so funny because like they reuse actors and characters a lot. Or no, just actors. They reuse actors a lot. So the guy who plays adult Shiva also plays like two other characters, and he just looks the exact same. So it's really funny.
Wait, he plays his own dad. Who else does he play?
The grandfather in a picture.
Right. Yes. Grandfather in a picture. And when he was playing his own dad, it took me a while to figure out what was happening.
Well, also, you had your weird translation, so that probably didn't help.
I was going through layers.
Yeah.
And I was cross-stitching, which just added like a layer of complexity to my experience.
Yeah, you know, you have to kind of, you know, meet the movie where it's coming from. But like, I thought it was really funny to see his mom, who is just like, I've been telling you for many, many years, I'm an old woman now. She looks the exact same as the day he was born, like in the first scene. And she's like, I can't believe that you're, you know, you're still not listening to me. Well, in the meantime, this dude is like a 6'4" brick shit house. He's like as wide as my desk, and you know he's got like huge rippling muscles now. When he's adult, he's an adult. This actor is Prabhas, I believe is his name. It's a mononym, but he's like one of the most famous actors in Telugu cinema. So shout outs.
And I would just like to let him know I'm single.
Yeah. So listen, Prabhas, shout out. mortifiedpod@gmail.com. We'll hook you up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very handsome man. He's just so shredded in this movie. It's not hard for me to believe that he is a Superman of some kind.
No, he is absolutely, like, he is perfect for this like epic god poem, you know, sort of format. So we do have to talk about, while he is attempting to climb this waterfall, a song plays. And I don't know about you, but I had subtitles for the song, and I think this is what Marvel is lacking for me.
Yeah.
Because the song in the background is just like, ooh, Shiva, he's so big and strong and sexy and smart, and his muscles are gonna save us all, and they're bulging and rippling, and he's so... That is the whole song.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like, this is the fucking dude. Everybody get up. He's gonna beat ass, and he's got a huge dick. And it's like that for like 5 minutes.
But it's also delivered in this like very like wonderful like pseudo-religious sounding chanting.
Right, like if you've heard any Indian music, it kind of sounds like the da da da, like, you know.
Yeah. It's good. I really like this. I like the music of this movie. And it just, I was sitting there, I was like, this is what I want to wake up to every fucking morning. I want a beautiful heavenly choir be like, ooh, Leyla, she's so sexy, she's so smart, she's she's gonna rule the world. Like, that's the vibe.
Maybe this is why you like musicals so much, because it's basically the same thing.
Well, I think that's what I wrote in my notes, was like, you've heard of the I Want song. What about the like, He's So Sexy song?
Yeah, no, 100%. We need more of that.
It's so good. So that's the tone of this entire film, and it's played 100% serious, and I really think that's lessons for us to learn.
Yeah, nobody is like being like, isn't this funny? There's going to be a bunch of stunts here later on. Like, I think probably one of the other famous ones is where they, I don't know if it's from this movie or not, but like there's a famous gif again where somebody like slides a horse under a cart or something, and yes, like. You do. Yeah, and like it's just completely straight, and I think that's great. Actually, people should be more bought into their own shit, even if it's dumb.
We should. And this is free for any filmmaker or anyone who's doing anything with cinematics. I want to see somebody Akira slide a horse.
Yeah, I mean that would be extremely good. I'm sure people have done that.
Yeah, but I want something gifable. I want something I know. You know.
I gotta find this gift for you.
You do. Anyway, we're like not even in the prologue.
Oh yeah, no, this is the first 20 minutes of the movie. We got so much more to go. At some point, his mom is like trying to do a ritual to get him to stop climbing the mountain. And she's just like, God, my son is so fucking annoying. I know that if he climbs up to the mountain, he's going to achieve his destiny and leave me. And that bums me out. So I'm trying to like bathe this idol of Shiva, the god, the actual god, not their son. And
it would have been very funny though if it was just buff dude idol of her own son.
You've heard of boy moms now. But she, like this guru, this wise man, a swami, he's like, okay, you have to bathe this thing 100 times or 1,000 times or whatever, and then your prayer will come true. And then Shiva, hearing that his mom is going up and down this river all day, he's like, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. So he like breaks this idol out of its statue, out of this like big thing. And this is like, this is probably like a 5, maybe not 5, but like 4 foot, sculpted idol of stone. This is the cover of the Wikipedia page. You can see him carrying this thing, but it's, something that would be like 1,000 pounds, right? Something enormous. And he just like kind of lifts it over his head, and everybody's like, oh no, you've done a sacrilege. You've broken the idol. But then he comes and carries it and puts the idol under the waterfall. And then, the music starts, playing up, and it's like, oh, Shiva, he did the miracle. He's so big and fuckable. Everybody loves him. And then they're like, oh, okay.
While he's trying to lift it, iconic shot, there's like a beaded kind of like bracelet on his bicep, and he's flexing so hard it explodes.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's cunty.
It's extremely fun. And then he's like, I thought, the wise man said you wanted 100 showers for your Lord, but now he shall be bathed constantly. And that's a pretty good line. And then everybody's like, okay, you did it. And now the lady's like, well, I guess my prayer will come true. And the wise man's like, well, no, not really. Don't worry about it.
Shiva works in mysterious ways is what he keeps hitting her with. And
yeah,
she's
basically.
like, is that a good thing? And he's like, Shiva works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. And at this point, he is able to climb the waterfall. Like, he had fallen a couple times, like taken these like 300, 500 foot, face plants off of the waterfall before. But now
Gentle
he's able
slides. Gentle slides.
He just kind of bouncing. It's fine. The no fall damage. But like, he is finally able to climb the waterfall after this. And when he's there, he has this vision of a beautiful woman, which I believe is Avantika, right?
I'm so bad with faces, but I think so.
I have to be.
Extra bad with faces because in the vision, right, she's made up like a beautiful woman with her like beautiful... First of all, the reveal served. She like appears in a swarm of butterflies, and they're like beautiful and blue, and she like dances them off. I was like, yes, serving, absolutely. But she has her hair down and makeup on, and that sexy little outfit, and then the next shot we see her in, her hair is back and no makeup and like army outfit, so can't confirm, but pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a cool reveal. But like, this vision appears to him. He follows it up the waterfall, and he meets her. And he doesn't meet her. He sees her leading like what is essentially a guerrilla partisan group ambush against these like royal soldiers. And like he sees this woman that he like believes, because there's like, a 10-minute sequence where she's like, the vision is singing to him and being like, oh, we gotta fuck. I'm super hot and you're super hot. So come on up here and fuck me. And then when he actually, goes to see her, he sees like the woman that he'd been, in the vision, and she's like cutting people's throats and just like, doing war crime shit on the Imperial Army, which is very fun and cool. And we love, I think she's the best character in this by far. I think she gets done dirty, unfortunately, but she rules.
Completely. Yeah, no, she rules supremely. I love her so much. From here, what begins to happen is this flirting sequence where Shiva, I think perhaps wisely, is trying to stay out of the murder lady's sights. But she like hurts her hand and she goes to like dip it in a pond to like rest and ends up falling asleep that way. And his idea is to swim up underwater and tattoo her hand, which almost gets her ass disqualified from like fulfilling the mission that her like insurgency group is trying to fulfill, which is save this princess from her 25-year imprisonment within this kingdom that had been taken over. And then she convinces her leader that no, like, she's not vain, like, she doesn't know how this happened. She, like, angry cries at him, and he lets her go. And then she goes up, she's like, I gotta find the motherfucker who did this to me. Goes up in a tree, and then he puts a poisonous snake on the arrow that she's holding so that she will hold her shoulder still for him to sneaky tattoo her again. Fellas.
Is this romance?
No.
You wouldn't like it for a guy that you've never met to secretly tattoo you and also put a snake on your bow?
That pause was me pondering variations of this, right? Where I'm like, how would I feel if a guy was trying to flirt with me and did like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing almost, where we like, you put your hand in something and you do like a smiley face or like a temporary tattoo. And I like none of those options.
It is never a good situation where a man you don't know alters your body without your knowledge or consent. That seems bad. I know that there's some people on Tumblr who love that sort of thing, and God bless you. But in general, in real life, maybe no good.
Maybe no good. So, unfortunately to me, this is not romance, but it worked on her.
Right. Here's the thing. Like this culminates in like a cool, like a sex fight kind of. Again, I know what they're going for here. Like, so he finally reveals himself to Avantika, and Shiva begins to like romance her, and she's trying to stab him the whole time, and he's like subtly taking her clothes off and putting makeup on her. So
you've seen movies in the West where men are like, "You're beautiful without your makeup." She was out here like, no.
No.
Let me help.
Let me touch you up.
Which, well, okay, hold on. I actually don't hate that because it's like, it kind of aligns with the way that I think about makeup, which is like, I think it is fun and good for people to want to decorate themselves. Like, I think that's like a fun thing where it's like, oh, like we're meeting and like I want you to get dressed up and like I want us to be, because he wears a lot of like accessories too, right? He has earrings and he's always in like, which, fellas, more of you need to be wearing beaded necklaces and pearls and shit. That's hot. I just want to throw it out there. I see a man in pearls, I'm like, woohoo. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted by thinking about men in pearls again.
Understandable.
Like it's a moment of like, ooh, like join me in this like sexy celebration. The problem I think happens is that you can't divorce that from the fact that women feel like they have to wear makeup to be acceptable baseline in society, and where we have a lot of this, this content where like men are like, oh, you're getting catfished if a woman's wearing eyeliner, right? So like you can't divorce those two things, but I wish you could, because I think it is kind of fun to reframe that scenario in a way that isn't terrible. There's two other things I really like about the fuck song. One, there's a moment where she takes her, like, because she's like a not a shirt, but like she's wrapped her chest in just like a piece of fabric. And there's a moment where she takes it off, but before he can see her tits, she blindfolds him with it. Hot.
That is
hot.
What
a move. Love. And I also love that they go to what feels like a dream fuck gazebo.
Yeah. They have like 3 different outfit changes, and they're all in different scenes, and one of them is a fuck gazebo.
And then, but the outfit from one of the fuck gazebo scenes then becomes real because that's how they woke up.
Yeah.
I love it. I love a movie that doesn't make me ask questions, but just takes me on a journey.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of that sequence I think is really good. I think the 3 outfit changes and like, I think the song's too long, but like everything in this movie is too long. So like,
what I was gonna say, like
you can't really be picky in this film. But like, I think if it wasn't working in that mythopoetic style where it's like, okay, we are fated lovers, we are going to be together, it is your love that will empower me to go on to my mission to meet my destiny, I think that works. And if it wasn't that, like if they're meeting, I'm really easily able to hand wave away all the weirdness around their meeting and romance, because it's like, this is the kind of story they're doing. Like, yeah, it's a little weird to see on screen, but like, that's what they're doing. This is how these stories work.
The entire movie, I was sitting there and I was like, could I picture this in an oral retelling? Like, could I hear somebody telling me this story of like, and then the lovers met, and then they like danced through the night, and then they fucked, and they were gonna be together forever. Like, yeah, like that's exactly what I'm picturing is like an oral. This is what should be going on in your head when someone is telling you a story, right? And in that sense, it really works. And also, like, again, I just love the audacity of it. I love the audacity of the whole thing. I love the fuck gazebo. I love the outfit changes. It's just fun. But based on this one fuck, they go on a mission to rescue Devasena.
Yeah. Yeah, basically he's like, you did it so good for me that there's a really funny in my viewing of it, he says, he's like, I'm gonna take up your mission, and the screenshot I took is, I don't know who Devasena is, which is really funny. He's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna get her because I love you.
It's extra funny because it's his fucking mom.
Right, it's his mom. This is how these stories turn out. This is his long lost mother. She didn't drown in the river. She's just been captured by the wicked king, whose name I forgot. Balaladeva. Thank you.
Balaladeva.
But yeah, it's
also
very funny. Yeah, I actually like Balaladeva a lot, even though he's evil. He rules. So we'll talk about him in a second. But basically, Avantika, he passes on the mission to him, and he goes to infiltrate the court of the Majmati kingdom. And the first scene we get of that is like, I actually love this shot because like we see there's a lot of CGI in this movie, right? And I'm kind of torn about it because it's like, how much we love practicals, how much we love puppets, etc. There's a lot of CGI, and like, it's from 2015. It's made it from, it's probably not the highest quality, right? It sticks out, but I think
it's pretty good for 2015, like a mid-budget 2.5-hour long movie. It's
right.
I mean,
this movie's budget was like what, 28 million essentially. Yes, 28 million USD. So like, which is a big budget for an Indian-made movie. And like, I do think the CGI sticks out. But at the same time, they do so much with like they have like dozens upon probably hundreds of extras, right? There's this shot of like them going into the big CGI. You have the big tiered tower looking buildings that you see as you go into the kingdom, and there's this bit where they're like trying, there's horses and elephants kind of like moving through the streets. There's a bit where they're trying to like show how Balaladeva is a cruel king, and they just have like 20 dudes getting flogged, and it's like really, it's like a 3-second shot, but it's just like a bunch of dudes getting the shit beat out of them with whips, and it's like, wow, okay, very striking and dramatic scene for a couple seconds. That rules.
And that's the extras. That's also, they had to build that set piece. They had to get the vlogs together, hopefully in a way that wasn't actually hurting the actors. Like they're probably fake in some way. Like it's cool. It's deeply cool. I also so he comes into this kingdom and he's like staking it out, and basically he's coming in the middle of Balaladeva raising 100-foot statue of himself, which serving, and then the statue falls and is about to crush 100 people, and his reaction to it, by the way, is, well, it's 100-foot statue, shouldn't it be worth the sacrifice of 100 souls? Like,
yeah, hell yeah, brother.
Okay,
you're
villain.
So right. Go off, king.
I love when people are blatantly evil. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
But Shiva at that point like helps, like single-handedly like catches a rope and starts pulling the statue back upright. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but I do really like the irony of raising your nemesis 100-foot golden statue in order to save people.
And I mean, that's kind of the whole arc, right? When we see Balaladeva and the father Bahubali, right? Like that's that was the whole deal between them, is that Balaladeva was all about power and control, whereas Bahubali was like, would save people and cared about the people, et cetera, et cetera. So that makes sense, right? That's an incarnation of the father's characteristics through the son. So it's a good bit of foreshadowing, right?
Absolutely.
So anyway, he one thing that we also glossed over that we'll get to is Balaladeva has this slave named Kappa, who is like the best swordsman in the land. He is sworn to the dynasty because Balaladeva, we don't know this yet, but Balaladeva is like Shiva's uncle, essentially. I think that's how that works. Yeah, his dad. They were brothers, so he's his uncle. But like Kappa's here, and like they have to like round up the people who are because when Shiva starts to raise the statue, all of the people see in him his father's strength, and they start to chant Bahubali, Bahubali, and that's
Bahubali.
Yeah,
Bahubali. It's so fun.
It's fun.
I want to chant right with him.
And the the evil family dynasty is like, wait, that's no good. You're chanting the name of my dead brother. That's bad. So he wants to like round up all of the, he asks the soldiers basically like, hey, who started this chanting so I can find them and kill them or whatever. And Shiva infiltrates the soldiers, and he's like, I saw it, my lord. And then he doesn't kill Balaladeva here. He doesn't like really fight him, but he just like kind of shows off and has like a a spicy little chase sequence before he rescues the Queen Devasena.
Yeah, does a little light arson.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then basically he is able to rescue the Princess Devasena, who has been, as Leyla said before, chained up in basically in like the town square for 50 years, or not 50 years, 25 years. But he rescues her, he begins to flee, and then he has to fight Kappa, who has been established as previously, being like the best swordsman in the land. But he like hates Balaladeva, but because he's sworn to the dynasty, he begins to fight Bahubali anyway, even though he wants to free Devasena. So we get a couple of cool fight scenes. Basically, Kappa's the only person who can really match Shiva's strength, and he's like a pretty good swordsman. But then like she does this cool move where they're both like reaching for this sword that was on a horse's like in like strapped to a horse's saddle, and Kappa grabs the sword, but Shiva like does a flip over him and pulls the sword out of the sheath, so Kappa's just holding the sheath, and then he uses the sword to decapitate the son of the king. And then at that point, Kappa's like, you're my lord. And then he does the put the foot on the head thing. I mean, that's like even if we don't get the cultural context, it's very clearly like a gesture of submission, of like loyalty.
Yes. Sick fight scene. Sick little, these action set pieces go on for like 40 minutes, but they're so fun that it's just throwing your hands up in the air going, wee!
Yeah. There's a lot of fun stuff here. Like there's the only time they were able to like stop Shiva is like they just like have to hit him with like a huge stick. Basically, they like have a trap set out in the woods, and they just like clothesline him with a tree, and that's how they initiate this fight. But this fight kind of culminates like a storm comes in, and it starts to rain, and there's like lightning. It's like very dramatic, very over the top, but like in a way that I think is very fun.
Absolutely, we love dramatic and over the top here.
Yeah. So all of this has been about 90 minutes of the movie.
No, only this has been about 90 minutes of the movie. Because what has happened, Aaron, Auntie Devasena gave up Shiva, right? She floated away. He moved a shrine, or not a shrine, moved an idol over to a waterfall, climbed a waterfall, fucked his girlfriend, and then rescued his mom.
Yeah.
Any other movie, that's 40 minutes.
Right. This is a very, very extended sequence.
It is. It's so. I didn't mind, though. I was sitting there cross-stitching, having a capital B blast. The problem is that after this, we enter the racist half of the movie.
Yeah, there's
a number of things that
I mean,
Starting
there's
with
only
the
one
fact
that's
that-
like really bad, but like
But also, Singapore's a den of thieves.
they fucking came from my motherland, which I'm not thrilled about. Like, I know historically Singapore was a pirate's like haven, but also fuck off. So
Yeah. So, and then also there's just a
Rude.
lot of people wearing blackface.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right.
So, at this point, Kappa recognizes, Shiva as the long lost son of his lord, Balaladeva, or not Balaladeva, Bahubali. And he begins to tell Shiva the story of his history. And basically, I kind of didn't understand this part, but my understanding was, for whatever reason, the old king died, and his wife died in childbirth, but the son is Amarendra Bahubali, right? This is the guy, the father of Shiva. He is really cool, and he is adopted by Sivagami, who is the mother of Balaladeva, right? And also the regent of this kingdom.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
I think you're correct.
And she raises Balaladeva and Bahubali as these two princes to, who are one day going to, vie for the throne, essentially. And there's her, I don't know if he's her husband or he's just like some sort of concubine, but Balaladeva's dad, who's just kind of like an old weasel guy who also continues into the first half of the movie. He's just kind of chilling like an old evil grandpa. I love him.
Love him. Obsessed with the swag, obsessed with his vibe. Again, be evil.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time.
Yeah, they go. Why do they go to the? Oh, because there's a guy who like sold their military secrets.
Yes,
so they're like chasing this traitor to Singapore, and then because I just want listen. I like this sequence. I think it's fun, but I do want us to remember the framing, which is Kappa telling the story. So I was just sitting there and I'm like, so Kappa is talking, and then what happens in this sequence is they go to Singapore, they're like, oh my god, den of thieves, and I was like,
right.
All right, we're starting with some takes. And then Balaladeva has this like really fun moment where he like sits down in a bar and orders a drink, and then he's like, no, and he smashes it. He's like, bigger. And he smashes it again. He's like, no, bigger. He smashes it. He's like about to smash this like whole keg, and he's like, no, I need something big enough for like everybody. And the bartender's like, do you have the money? And he puts a giant sack of coins really loudly, just like spills it all over the bar. And then he drops a curtain, and then there's just this like web work of kegs and
hanging from the ceiling.
Hanging from the ceiling. Balaladeva like throws a bunch of rocks at him, and they just start like spouting liquor for everybody. And because of his generosity, the men are like, we have more than liquor here, and they untie 3 women from the middle post. And here's where we enter into our second fuck montage. This one, I think, hornier than the last, because there's 3 women and a bunch
hornier,
of
yeah.
Oh, the horniest. It's a lot. But I was sitting there, I'm like, all I can picture is Kappa pulling over to be like, just so you know,
by the way,
your
uncle dad
and your dad, they fuck. It's a long sequence. I liked it. It was fun.
It's really good. It has no bearing on the plot whatsoever.
No, we probably pull over for I think 6 or 8 minutes.
It's a long sequence, yeah.
Yes. But you gotta know they fuck. That's important.
Yeah. Anyway, they do eventually track down this spy. Balaladeva almost Lion King's Bahubali, but then Kappa shows up, and he's like, dang. Kappa also, by the way, does not look any younger than he does when he's telling the story, which is very funny. He's in the same outfit too, I think, which is great. You know what? Fuck it. We don't care about consistency. We don't even make you feel like this is real. We're doing a thing. You're gonna roll with it. Well, you know what? I agree with. Good.
Yes. Oh my god. It's okay. I was watching Blue Eye Samurai over the weekend. And exquisite show, really fun, loved it. But the new season it's not going to be out until reportedly next year. So there's like a 3 or 4 year gap between two seasons of an 8 episode show, given the episodes are like an hour long, but still. And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, Every extra has a distinct appearance. Every location is fully fleshed out. Even if you see it for a second, like, everyone has unique outfits. The damage to the main character's outfit is persistent. So, like, she doesn't just have her, like, her jacket that she wears, I don't know if it's not a kimono, I don't know what it's called, but she doesn't have her just, like, top layer that she wears. Any cut she sustains gets stitched and persists through the end of the show. So those are, like, different assets they had to make as they were producing the show. And I was sitting there, I'm like, y'all could have saved so much time and effort and money for these. Like, it's beautiful that they were able to craft that, but I'm like, in commercial art, in a TV show that has seasons, this is a little crazy. So it was just kind of refreshing for me to see this movie that was just like, we're just going for vibes. And I was like, thank you for the vibes. I accept them. They're fantastic. I will gladly sit through 2.5 more hours of the vibes.
Yeah. It's good. You know, I think it's just important to know what you're going for. And they decided we don't actually care about, you know, all those little things. We care about the overall, you know, feeling that's going into this. And I think that's a smart choice.
Agreed.
So at this point, it's revealed they torture this guy, and they uncovered that he has sold their, you know, information. Basically, it doesn't actually matter what he sold. Basically, he's helping initiate a war between their kingdom and the kingdom of the Kalakaua. So the Kalakaua are like a historical like part of Hindu, you know, religion. They are like, they show up in the Mahabharata. They're like warriors that fought with the Asuras. But like here they are the Zulus, which is, they're like halfway between Zulus and orcs from Lord of the Rings. A lot of the reviews of this movie made comparisons to Lord of the Rings because this last, you know, half of the movie is just a LOTR fight sequence.
Yeah, it's just an action set piece.
And they are in blackface.
Yeah.
India has a long and grim history of discrimination based on the color of your skin. It is unfortunate, and it remains. And none of the reviews I read mentioned that because, you know, it is part of the culture. So, you know, we don't think that is good. I think that's quite bad.
Those vibes are bad and yucky, yes, to put it quite lightly and quite simply.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get into why colorism is bad.
Yeah, we do not. We do not. But, you know, just suffice to say, it has a different history in India than it does here. That doesn't make it better. I think it's gross, but, you know.
It's gross and a fun new flavor.
Yeah. Know that going in if you're going to watch this movie. But then they have like basically a sequence where they're like, okay, you know, we want this, you know, we want to kill the chief of the Kalakayas. So it's going to be you two boys who are going to, you know, lead the charge. Kappa's going to hold the center of this, you know, battle formation. They outnumber us 4-1, but we know that we can be victorious because we're such good fighters and we're morally virtuous. And they basically divide into two strike teams in like a little fortified pincer point where that's where Kappa is, and they're just like, you know, they're just going to throw their troops at us, and we are going to go around and try to kill the chief, and that's how we'll win. Right before the battle begins, the chief insults their mother in a way where she was like, okay, boys, you have to bring him back alive because we need to torture him for the insult that he said to me, and that's going to come up later here in a second. But we see how Balaladeva and Bahubali are different in this fight sequence. We see Balaladeva is given all the like artillery and like manonganals and like they have like hawachas, which are basically like an early missile launcher. They just shoot like 1,000 arrows at once. They're really cool, but he gets all the cool hardware, whereas Balaladeva just doesn't get like anything cool, but he uses his brains. So in the opening salvo of this attack, you know, the Mashratis are like shooting a bunch of, you know, artillery at the Kalakayas, but then Bahubali he like asked for a bunch of tents earlier, and he uses catapults to fling like basically huge tarps over the battlefield. And then they set the tarps on fire, which was really fun. I was like, okay, that's kind of a fun bit. There's a bunch of fight sequences, but the main thing, another thing that happens is like when the two sides are charging into battle. Again, the fight sequences are very fun. It's like 300 plus Marvel movie in that like Bahubali is like on a horse at one point with 2 spears, and he's just kind of like owning people left and right, just like left, right, chucking dudes everywhere. He gets knocked off his horse. He just like starts clotheslining dudes with his fist. It's really fun. The Balala Deva gets a scythe chariot with like basically a lawnmower blade in front of it, and is just kind of mowing through people. And like we see that they're different types of people because the Kalakayas have civilians. They bring out civilians as human shields in front of them. And Balala Deva does not stop and does pass go, mows right through those people with his scythe chariot. But Bahubali is like, no, we got to save the civilians. So all of his cavalry throw bolos and non-lethally capture, they knock the civilians over, and then they just kind of run over the bad guys. Do I think that tactic works in real life? No, I do not. I think those civilians are all broken eggs on the sidewalk. But it's kind of showing how they are morally different, and obviously Bahubali is the good and righteous one.
Bahubali gets a sick lion fist at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a giant brass or gold lion, and he just punches people with it. And he like at one point kind of claw grabs the chief's head with the lion. Fucks.
It's really good. It's really really fun. He's like trying to bring the chief back after he's captured him. But because that's what his mom wanted. But he like hesitates for a moment, and Balala Deva kill steals him with his retractable mace flail. He like throws it like a fishing rod, and it like cracks his head, and then he retracts it, and he's like, I got your ass. So he's the one who is in theory supposed to be the king because he killed the chief. And Bahubali is like, you know what, you're my brother. I'm very happy for you. I'm happy to be that you're a king. But their mom decrees that because Bahubali was more virtuous in the fight, he will be the king. And that's kind of where it peters down, but it does leave off on a cliffhanger because Shiva is like looking back at all this, and he's like, wow, my dad was a great warrior. How did he die? And then Kappa is like, I stabbed him in the back. And end the movie, and it's like, oh, okay, we got to figure out the story in part 2, and that's like a fun, silly cliffhanger. It was a good time.
I loved it. Aside from the racism, fantastic flick.
Yeah, listen, you gotta. I don't excuse racism, but you take the movie for what it is.
What's that? It's that. Is it from Community, that gif that goes around all the time? It's like,
I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty or something. It's just like, you can excuse racism. Yeah, so that's the situation. Complicated movie in that way, but also a very fun time. So I think that I'm glad we watched this. Do we have any other talking points we haven't hit?
I don't think so. I think we had a great time.
Yeah. I guess the marketing minute then for this episode is, what is our version of a 3-hour long, 2-part epic reworking of a legend or myth in our history or storytelling?
Well, you have here that our right-wing pivot could start with an American Revolution.
Hey, you know how Hamilton was too woke? What if we made a 3-hour American Revolution epic where George Washington is just like out here with 2 muskets, just kind of going ham on British soldiers? Maybe Abe Lincoln has like, or no, he's not. This isn't Abe Lincoln yet. Maybe Alexander Hamilton is out here, with like a sniper rifle, blasting British soldiers. I think that would be very silly, and we could probably get a lot of money from the gun lobby. So.
I was gonna say, this sounds like something we put up at the what's Trump, the leader of the fucking what's the center in DC?
Oh,
The
God. Kennedy Center, yes.
Kennedy Center. I think this is what we premiere at the Kennedy Center, right? We got Washington doing dual musket shit. Ben Franklin was there, right? Maybe Ben
Yeah,
Franklin's got,
he
like,
has a Tesla gun. He's like shooting lightning, right? That's his
Tesla
in the hero shooter version of the American Revolution, right? He's doing lightning damage. That just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely, I think we could steal, like I said, we could steal inspiration from these movies and just have like a wonderful choir there, right? Maybe even a church choir going like, Washington is so sexy. And he's so strong, powerful.
Washington, 6'20", made of radiation. If you're not a millennial, you're not gonna get that, but it's a good video. You should check it out.
I think, yeah. I mean, this is it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically just that video, but 3 hours long with incredible CGI.
Which we don't. I mean, like, listen, you and I have watched several like anime stage plays, and we've commented how beautiful those effects are. Like, we could totally learn about some. We could steal some projection techniques.
It's easy, yeah.
Easy peasy. Sorry, I'm distracted by your cat making biscuits in the back.
Where is he? Oh, my sweet boy.
Was making biscuits a second ago.
Oh, what a good boy.
But anyway, I think this is a great way to make our name in the right-wing circles.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will catch you all there. We'll catch you all Project 2026. We're just going to make a bunch of really bad epics.
All 30 of you will be comped seats to the Kennedy Center for the premiere of our American Revolution epic.
100%. Leyla, when we are not selling out, where can we be found on the internet?
You can find me at LEYLSES on Blue Sky and Tumblr. I don't know. The horrors keep happening, so I'm not really doing anything, but someday, who knows? Aaron, what about you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at AAVoit, Tumblr at Monster Factory Fanfic, but my main site is aavoit.com, where I talk about games and writing. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, I will have a new video essay on Jess Levine's Going Rogue and Andor, and Rogue One, and
how topical.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm doing it. But I think it'll be a good, interesting examination of that game and how it actually ties into some of the themes of Star Wars and radicalization. So check that out. I feel like I did something that I also wanted to plug recently. If you're worried about tariffs, which if you're in the United States, maybe you should be. Or maybe you just like role-playing games. I released a tabletop world-building game called Your Cool City Needs a Food Supply, and it's just about imagining how various places are fed, what kind of crops are made in your fantasy city, and then what kind of culture and people are growing them, and what kind of what develops out of the work that comes out of keeping your city fed. I think it's a really interesting world building exercise. If you're a writer, maybe check that out. That's at aaronsxl.itch.io. But I'm pretty proud of that, and 50% of the proceeds of that will go to a local food bank in my area. The other 50% goes to my editor, Nico McDougall, and they're great, and they made the game really, really nice. So if that's interesting to you, please check that out.
It's doing numbers on Tumblr. You want to join the numbers on Tumblr.
Yeah. Several numbers. Our theme song is Obsolete by Keshco from the album Filmmaker's Reference Kit Volume 2. You can find more of their music at Keshco.bandcamp.com. Leyla, how shall we say au revoir to this movie?
That is my word, and my word is law.
We'll see you all next time.